So you're considering moving to Kansas City and you're doing your research and you've discovered there's a Kansas and Missouri and you're narrowing down your search, looking at the top suburbs across the metro. Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the top 10 suburbs on the Kansas side. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the channel. If we haven't met yet, I'm Kyle, your local realtor, and we help people relocate to Kansas City every single day. Most of our clients, in fact, come from this YouTube channel. So if you are considering a move, all of my contact information is on the screen below. Shoot me a call, text, email. Day or night, I'd love to help you. We also put together a free relocation guide for you. You can download that in the description below. Now, this channel is moving to Kansas City, but just like any other metro area, it's comprised of the main city, Kansas City, and then all the suburbs around it. And so I would say probably about 25% of the clients that I help actually move to the city of Kansas City, and then everybody else falls into either the Missouri side bucket and a suburb over there, or the Kansas side bucket and a suburb over on that side. And because we're split right down the middle by a border, we get pretty much a 50-50 split from the rest of those clients in regards to where they end up. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the top 10 suburbs on the Kansas side. And to go one step further, all of these suburbs are located in Johnson County, which is the second largest county in the metropolitan area, only behind Jackson County, which is home to Kansas City, the biggest city in the entire metro. Now, this isn't a ranking video, but I'm gonna give you some insight into each one of these areas, and several of these suburbs I've never talked about on this channel, so definitely make sure you stick around to the end. Now, speaking of suburbs that we've never discussed on this channel, this first one is located on the southwest side. It's the furthest west of any of the suburbs that we're gonna talk about, and it's not really even considered a suburb. In my research, it was actually referred to as an exurb, but I think it's going to grow exponentially over the next 5 to 10 years, and that's DeSoto, Kansas. Now, it's only a population of about 6,500 people, but the reason that I believe it's going to grow exponentially is they're building a new $4 billion Panasonic EV plant, which is going to bring 4,000 jobs to the area, and those people are going to need places to live. Now, one of the downsides to DeSoto is there's just not a lot of inventory currently. They are building some new homes out there. I just had a client that was interested in DeSoto. We went through this new community, beautiful construction homes, features 4 separate local builders, and the finishes were amazing in all of them. And what I really like about DeSoto is it's still only 30 minutes from downtown Kansas City, but it's also 30 minutes from Lawrence, which is a big college town, is where KU is. The downside to living in DeSoto is there's just not a lot to do there. I mean, again, it's a very small town, but if you're looking for that small town vibe, or maybe you're relocating because of the Panasonic plant, well, then DeSoto might be a great option for you. Now, this next one is located just a little northeast of DeSoto, and my clients that were interested in DeSoto actually ended up here, and that's Shawnee, Kansas. Now, the reason this one is so important is because the Shawnee Mission School District bleeds into a lot of the other suburbs that we're going to be discussing on this list. Now, Shawnee is a lot bigger than DeSoto. It has a population of over 67,000 people. And what I really like about Shawnee is they have Shawnee Mission Park, which is one of the best parks in the entire metro. It's over 1,600 acres. It features loads of hiking trails, mountain biking trails, a disc golf course. It's a 120-acre lake with a dog park and a dog beach. So it's a really cool place to go. And there are a lot more new construction communities that are taking place over in Shawnee just because there's a lot more room to grow. In fact, the clients that were considering DeSoto bought a brand new construction home over in Shawnee, but they also have this cute little downtown historic area and a lot of cool historic homes around there as well. So no matter what you're looking for, you could typically find it in Shawnee. The other thing that I really like is the median home price in Shawnee is only $408,000, which is below the median home price of Johnson County as a whole, and it's one of the more affordable options that you're going to find on this list. Now, the next one on our list is one that I'm very familiar with because it's where I graduated high school from, and that's Olathe, Kansas. It has a population of 140,000 people, so it's definitely one of the larger suburbs on our list. And similar to Shawnee, it has its own school district. There are actually over 50 schools in the Olathe school district, and 5 of those are high schools, the newest one being Olathe West High School, which is on the far west side of town. And that's one of the interesting things about Olathe is they have this downtown historic Park area, but it's not really thriving in the same way that many of the other historic districts are with some of these suburbs on our list. And I think that's because they built all these different shopping areas kind of all over town. So you have 119th and I-35, and then they're really developing the west side of Olathe. Down south of 151st Street, you have Heritage Park. And depending on where you end up in Olathe, you might have to drive a little bit to get like to your grocery stores. And then the other thing is it's about 30 to 35 minutes from downtown Kansas City. It is a thriving community. The median home price here is $425,000, which is right around that median home price in Johnson County. And I think it has a lot more room to grow here in the coming years. Okay, so let's talk about a couple smaller suburbs here that are closer to downtown. And the first one is Mission, Kansas. It has a population of just under 10,000. What I really love about Mission is their downtown area is awesome. They have a lot of local shops and businesses. There's like this trading card store that I take my kids to. And then there's this nitrous ice cream, the really, really cold ice cream spot, and just a lot of other local businesses. And then you have your Target there. And the median home price here is considerably lower. It's only $295,000. And a big reason is the house sizes are quite a bit smaller because they are on the older side. So there's not a lot of new construction taking place in Mission, but it was just recently ranked as the #1 place to live on the Kansas side for young professionals. And I think a big reason for that is you have this up and coming downtown area in Mission, but then you're only 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Kansas City. Now, one thing that I did read up on niche.com, actually one of the reviews says there's just not like a lot to do for families. There are hardly any parks in Mission, but again, you're pretty well connected to the surrounding suburbs. So as long as you don't mind driving, 10 to 15 minutes, you can usually find a nice sized park or a recreation activity for your family. Now, this next one is the smallest suburb in terms of population size on our list, but it might just be my favorite suburb in all of Johnson County, and that's Westwood, Kansas. As you know, if you've watched any of my other content, I'm a huge fan of historic architecture, and they have one of the cutest little downtowns with Hi Hat Coffee, which is this fantastic coffee shop, and it's in this iconic just little shack that looks like something out of the Shire. But you get a lot of the perks of living in the country club district because it's part of that. It just happens to be on the Kansas side in Johnson County, so you're part of Shawnee Mission School District, but it's also where Woodside is located, which is this premier fitness club. And then you have the original Joe's KC in the gas station on the west side of Westwood. Now, inventory here is pretty sparse and the median home price is $419,000, but if you're looking for something that has the best of both worlds with some walkability, close access to downtown and the plaza, but still has the perks and amenities of living in the suburbs, well then Westwood is definitely a place you're going to want to consider. This next one we've talked about quite a bit on the channel, and it's often considered not only one of the best places to live in Kansas City, but in the entire country. That's Overland Park. It's the second largest city in the state of Kansas and the second largest city in the entire metro with right around 200,000 people. Now, the cool thing about Overland Park is there's a lot of variety. For example, Northern Overland Park has this really cute downtown historic district with boutique shops and restaurants, a great farmers market, and some smaller to medium-sized homes in the $200,000 to $300,000 price range. The middle of Overland Park is where you're going to find the Prairie Fire area, which has AMC and Shields and Chicken and Pickle, and you can get some walkability around there as well. And then the south side of Overland Park is where Overland Park Arboretum is, which is a great perk of living in South OP, and a lot of new construction is going in down there. The median home price is $447,000, but you can get homes in the $200,000 to $300,000 range up in North OP to a new construction home up in the $1 million price range in South Overland Park. So no matter what you're looking for, OP really has something for everybody. Now, another suburb that is experiencing a ton of new growth is Lenexa, Kansas, and it's sandwiched between Shawnee to the north and Olathe to the south. Now, the unique thing about Lenexa is they don't have their own school district. So depending on where you live in Lenexa, you're either going to be part of DeSoto School District, Shawnee Mission, or Olathe. So make sure you do your research. And one thing that I really love about Lenexa is their new downtown city center that they've spent millions of dollars in investing in, and it's just south of Shawnee Mission Park. So you can live in a neighborhood between Shawnee Mission Park and the city center and walk to both, which I think is really, really cool. They have this state-of-the-art aquatic center. It's where they do their art festival and the great Lenexa barbecue battle. And it's this concept of bringing a more urban environment to the suburban landscape, which is something we really haven't seen here in the Kansas City area. Now, if you want to learn more about living in Lenexa, make sure to watch this video here where we did a full vlog tour and showed you what some of the new construction options look like out there as well. Now, before we get into the final 3 on our list, be sure to download our free relocation guide in the description below. This next one is the most expensive suburb in the entire state of Kansas, and that's Leawood, with a median home price of $674,000. And a big reason for that is you have some really nice amenities, but also the #1 rated school district in the entire state in the Blue Valley School District. Now, similar to Overland Park, there are a couple of different vibes because north of 435, you fall in that historic boundary area. So you're gonna find some older homes, you're gonna find some scrapes where they built some new construction homes, and a lot of remodeling is taking place through there, which is really driving up the median home price. On the south side of Leawood, you have Town Center with some higher end shopping options. And Leawood really has some of the most beautiful neighborhoods in all of Kansas City, which is part of why it's such a sought after place to live. I like to refer to this next one as Leawood's little brother, and it was recently recognized by Zillow as the best place to live in the entire country, and that's Prairie Village. Now, Prairie Village is interesting. It's only 6 square miles, but it has around 22,000 people that live there. So it has a much higher density than many of the other suburbs on this list. Now, what I love about Prairie Village is you have, again, huge trees, beautiful architecture. You have 2 different shopping areas that are embedded in neighborhoods where you can live in a neighborhood that's super walkable. Take the shops at Prairie Village, for example, which is this beautiful little shopping area. It has over 50 shops and restaurants, Dolce Bakeries over there. You have a Chipotle, a Starbucks. So you have a lot of amenities right there in your backyard. And the other great thing that I love about Prairie Village is the beautiful parks that they have. And 2 of my favorites are Meadowbrook Park and Franklin Park, which has this little stream in the summertime. My kids like to go and just kind of splash around in there. And then the median home price is considerably lower than Leawood at only $450,000. But that is on the rise because, again, similar to Leawood, there are a lot of builders coming in and removing some of these older, smaller homes that have been neglected over the years and building more modern, new construction homes. However, you can't argue with Zillow naming it as one of the best places to live in the entire country. And that's just one of the many reasons why people choose to move to Prairie Village. This last one on my list is a suburb that I have never talked about on my channel, but I actually lived there between 2nd and 4th grade, and it's grown exponentially since then. It has a population of around 24,000 people, which is more than doubled since 2000, and that's Gardner. The thing about Gardner is it's the furthest south, so you're gonna have the longest commute if you are going to be working or commuting to downtown Kansas City on a regular basis. It's gonna be anywhere from like 35 to 50 minutes. It's south of Olathe, but there's a lot of new construction opportunity that's taking place down there and more affordable new construction homes. The median home price is $395,000, and there is a builder down there that's building new homes in the $300,000 range, which is something that you just don't find in Johnson County. So it's a bit of a trade-off, really. You are further away from downtown, but if you're not going to be commuting on a regular basis, this might be a great option for you. The other thing that I love about Gardner is it's really close to Hillsdale Lake, which was recently recognized as one of the best fishing lakes in the entire country. I spent a ton of time there growing up, skiing, kneeboarding, fishing. If you like getting outdoors and doing those activities, well, then Gardner might just be the perfect fit. So there's no doubt that Kansas has a ton of great options. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we help people relocate here on a regular basis. So if you're one of those, then be sure to shoot me a call, text, email. All my information is displayed on the screen below. You can also download our free relocation guide. But what if you are considering something on the Missouri side? Well, then you're definitely going to want to check out this video here about all things Missouri suburbs.